Network TV has failed us.
I'll show you how it's done. Shazam!
Network TV has failed us. What the hell does that mean?
Well, it basically means network shows gotta suck now.
I think that summarizes the point. Alright, cool.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it summarizes a little too much, but it gets the message across.
Alright, so what is a network TV show?
Well, a network TV show it's basically a TV show that's on, a channel, not something you would find on Netflix.
What are some of the most biggest channels that...
I was going to get into that.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I wasn't just going to...
Alright, go.
Yeah. But yeah, it's basically a show that's on a TV channel. Most notably are the primetime channels like Fox, NBC, CBS, maybe CW qualifies as primetime, I think.
Mm-hmm. So companies owned usually by big media conglomerates.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is like NBC is under Universal, which is under Comcast.
Mm-hmm.
Even the CW, it's not as big as the other channels, but it's under Time Warner.
Yes, it is.
Which is under Warner Brothers. CBS is under Viacom.
Mm-hmm. And Fox is now owned by
and
Disney.
And ABC is obviously under Disney, and Fox now is owned by 20th Century and MGM and all those places.
That's crazy. Between ABC, Fox, and ESPN, those are some of the three biggest channels on TV.
Don't you get National Geographic as well?
True, that's another big one that Disney owns. They own a lot of big TV.
What about Discovery? I'm pretty sure they own Discovery too.
Discovery Channel. I don't know who owns the Discovery Channel.
I kind of put that in the same bracket as National Geographic, but National Geographic is more specific on animals, I suppose.
Yeah,
and wildlife. Discovery's just traveling.
Yeah, it's based on geography.
Yeah, but I know National Geographic, Fox,
ESPN, and ABC.
They mainly bought that for the Marvel rights, but they got everything else with it, except for the sports and news.
Yeah, they got a lot of shit.
No, they didn't get the news and the sports.
But I just said
Disney does have ESPN, so it doesn't matter.
just said they have a lot of shit in general.
Yeah, Disney owns ESPN. They're pretty much the biggest shit.
Yeah,
they got Lucasfilm.
I'm pretty sure ESPN was already bigger than Fox Sports at that point.
Well, ESPN is specifically.
Oh yeah, it's specifically a sports channel.
Yeah,
I know.
With a bunch of sports shows.
But it's
Take with
the biggest.
Stephen A. Smith.
But it's the biggest place in sports. Am I wrong? I'm not really a sports fan.
Of course.
Okay.
ESPN has some of the biggest sports talk shows. First Take with Stephen A. Smith and the other show with Skip Bayless and a bunch of other podcasts and obviously live sports and stuff like that.
I didn't even think about.
Oh, and Disney owns Hulu. Hulu has access to live sports as well now as well. He's on a huge basketball deal.
Yeah,
it's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
What's even the point of that? Disney now has 2 streaming services. What's the point? No, scrap that because now we're getting on a different topic entirely. We're straying away from our topic.
Right, but Hulu does have a lot of shit. By the way,
they do.
Hulu,
absolutely.
Hulu has all FX and
they have a lot of old shows too.
Right. So does network TV? Does network TV also span to those cable channels Nickelodeon or FX or TNT USA, AMC, even
that's
HBO and Stars and Cinemax and
HBO and Stars? So that's a hard no. Those
HBO
things.
Own Stars?
No, I said
HBO and Stars.
That's what I said.
But that is on TV.
No, but I'm saying I'm not counting those because those are premium channels that you have to pay for specifically.
Which you have to pay for basic cable too, but okay.
No, but it's different. When you pay for basic cable, you pay for the package.
Well, the difference is
if you want to buy HBO, you're buying HBO specifically.
Right.
So I'm not really counting channels like that.
Yeah, but you're also missing a big thing too. The reason why those are a little different is because they're not ruled by
Yeah, they don't have the deal with the ratings board. They don't deal with the FCC like a normal channel would.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that separates them.
Yeah, and you don't have ads and all that kind of stuff.
No.
It's movie channels.
Like they're so different from what we define as a network TV channel that we're not counting them.
So how would one of those channels be monetized on the HBO or?
Well, they're just monetized by like you pay for it, like your subscription.
Right, because when you get cable, you pay specifically.
Yeah,
like extras, like pay for the HBO package.
Yeah, like those are all extra.
Or it's a movie package, movie bundle.
Like you're not like when you're paying cable, like your cable package has whatever channels are like selected.
Right, because all the channels come with basic cable, like at least those that we watch.
Yeah, like AMC or FX or all those channels like that. They're like stuff that just about anybody could watch as long as they have cable.
But those channels are very much different from the primetime channels, though.
They kind of are, but I think they kind of are. I think there's like different tiers of this. I think like they're a much higher tier.
Break those down. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Break
okay.
Those tiers
If we're going for tiers of network shows, I think at the very bottom we have. Well, at the very bottom you have those like really trashy channels that just play reality TV all the time. Fuck that.
VH1,
we don't deal with that.
E! Entertainment.
Yeah, we don't mess with any of that.
Even though some of them are going into scripted content. But mainly they're mainly known like Bravo, all those like Real Housewives and Love and Hip Hop.
Right there. That's like the
Kardashians.
I think you'll agree with me. That's the very bottom of the tier list.
I think Kardashians actually ending, by the way.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, coming to like a final season, but they've been out for like almost 20 years.
Yeah, it's been
at least 20 seasons.
Yeah, well, yeah, not 20 years, but 20
actually not maybe 20. They've been out for quite a while. But they was not 2000, so
yeah, they weren't around in the 90s.
So I think they bundled.
Yeah, I mean there are some shows that just have multiple seasons in a year. Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Yeah, and I used to watch some of those reality shows too. Like actually, I was on a set of a reality show recently.
Yeah,
the Cake Boss thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Trust me, those shits are very scripted. Do not believe nothing. Well, I'm sure most of you guys know that already, but it's really like they literally had a director on set directing these actual people to how to act in a certain
the reality and reality TV should be air quotes.
Spicy. Yeah, it's pretty much directing improv. That's pretty much what led up all those reality shows are. They're pretty much they're not scripted. The only difference is that they're just improv, but it's still performances. It's still not 100% real. Mm-hmm. It's like sprinkled with a little bit of realness. You know what I mean? Oh, but then you have major shows like Making a Band back in the days, Matt, the Real World. Like those are classics.
I still think they're trash tier. Fuck those shows.
Of course, because you're not a reality TV fan, but they have a huge audience.
They do have a huge audience, but
mainly people like my mother and stuff like that used to love all those kind of reality shows. Especially the game shows like American Idol and.
Game shows are like I think they're like a step above reality shows.
Yeah, but it's still in the reality world. But
yeah, they're the same vein.
Yeah,
but they're more palatable.
But that would be in the network category too.
It is
like American Idol. They
absolutely are.
Like the Masked Singer. The Masked is one of the highest shows right now.
Or if you just want to go in like more game shows like Jeopardy.
Jeopardy's a huge one. Wheel of Fortune.
The Price is Right.
So
many.
Huge ones.
There's a ton of them, really.
Yeah, so Network is still a big corporation. They have like many different. They have paid programming. They have scripted stuff. They have sitcoms. And sitcoms still have like some of the most highest rates that he ever paid an actor.
Yeah.
Like Seinfeld and
Big Bang Theory was ridiculous.
Big Bang Theory, all three of those main actors. Johnny Galecki, who played who played Leonard.
Yeah, that was his name.
Jim Parsons, who's blonde now for some reason. He played Jim Parsons. Well, Jim Parsons played Sheldon Cooper, and Kelly Coco from Charmed. She played Penny, of course. The other guys are making money too, but they're not making as much. Like they're making $800,000. Ironically, the wife of Howard doesn't make that much.
Really?
She made about maybe like $100,000 episode. Huh. Maybe I think even less than that.
Wow.
I guess because she's not as experienced as them in terms of like in the industry. Like she's still very new, but that's bullshit because she's just the main character as the rest of them, and she kills it. She kills it on that show. Well, Ian Bialik, who plays Sheldon's wife, Amy, who's she made $500,000. But Penny, Leonard, and Sheldon they make $1 million each.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen too on 2.5 Men, which is a show that we're gonna get into ASAP because that's one of my favorite sitcoms. Chuck Lorre, I guess, is behind everything, but he's
behind both those shows.
Yeah, and
a bunch of others too,
like Mike and Molly and those other shows, and
and
you have also Dan Snyder, who's really big on those Nickelodeon shows. Like he pretty much produced all those Nickelodeon sitcoms, like for kids, like Ned's Declassified. I don't know about Ned's Declassified, but he did like Carly.
He did a whole version.
Jake and Josh.
Josh.
Oh, you into those kind of shows too?
I grew up with all of those.
Yeah, I don't watch them. Like, that's how I watched them because I grew up in like.
I don't watch them anymore.
Like Carly, and he's still doing shit now. Like he's doing like the Thundermans.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Like that's like the biggest stuff right now. But I don't watch that.
Yeah, and like if you want, if we're still talking about producers, then I know it's a sitcom, but Dick Wolf made a ton of money producing all those Law and Order shows.
Grammer, you're right. But when I say sitcom, we're talking about sitcoms. But yeah. Fine. Yeah.
Well, since we're on producer, I just stick this one moment for a brief aside. That's all. If you want to go back to sitcoms, you go to be my guest.
But yeah, Chuck Lorre is like the head honcho. Like, he's worth like $700 million. Like he's fucking huge, and like, he loses all pretty much the CBS sitcoms. Yeah, but sitcom like a dying brand. I was like maybe one or two that's kind of like doing well, but a lot of those get canceled like this, man.
True. Like, I don't think there's really been that many since, like, Big Bang Theory.
At least multi-camera. Like, there's definitely, like, single-camera sitcoms, like Young Sheldon and The Last OG, which I watch is on TBS. And
I think that itself it would be a conversation in its own self, whether or not it's better for a multi-cam sitcom or a single-cam sitcom.
It depends. I do love the laughter of a sitcom, like the laugh, like, it's not laugh tracks, but, it's like live audiences. Like, I love those reactions because it kind of, like, amplifies, like, the jokes, stuff like that. It kind of makes it
The thing is, like, with multicam sitcoms, you often find yourself in this position where you have to frame the characters in a very unrealistic way.
Well, yeah, because it's kind of like, it's basically a play.
I get that. But with that being said, I'm just not a fan of that. I much prefer the single camera. Yeah,
because it feels more real.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
But honestly, if you watch enough of it, it kind of just blends in. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like a nostalgia look for me. Like, there's a level of appreciation because I have taken theater classes and stuff like that. I've been on stage before, so I kind of like, I do have somewhat an appreciation for it.
Well, same here. But with that being said, with that being said, I've always been more of a film person than a theater person.
Me too. Granted, I am a camera guy for sure.
And I feel like you're not getting the best juice out of your cameras by just putting them all together. I don't know.
I suppose, but there's a lot of detail in the set.
Oh, I know
there are a lot of studio lights that they.
I know this, but like, but even like when I briefly worked as a cameraman on a news show, like everything looks so bland because you had all these different cameras at once. I'm like, I feel like
news is very different.
I know news is different, but even then, I feel like we could have gone. I feel like even then, I was just thinking to myself, like, man, I could really go in for these like really nice dynamic shots if it wasn't the case. But then again, it was also live, so. For that case, like, remember, like, in that case, I'm more accepting of the multicam.
With shows like that, like, you're not going to shoot it like, oh, let's go for a take here, let's do a medium close with this person, and then we'll do a shot reverse shot over the shoulders.
But sitcom is very different. You totally could.
Yeah, I took some TV radio class with me, like on a TV set. Like, it's 3 different cameras. You have your master shot, and then you have your
you're over the shoulders.
And then especially if you have 3 people, like you have camera 1 person, another. If there's not, then it's usually over the shoulders or just different angles. So you're catching the angles all at once, and then you in the control room, and you have the program bus.
Yes.
And then you're switching in between, and directors like calling out, okay. They kind of do it for a basketball game too. That's how they get the different angles.
Yeah.
Because it's not really about the camera work. It's more about just catching what you need to catch.
Exactly. And for anything that's live, I think multi-camera is perfectly fine.
Yeah, because you need it because it's rapid cuts and
exactly.
Live. You have time to do shots.
But the thing is, like, sitcoms really aren't filmed live anymore. They haven't really been filmed live for decades.
They're never live. They
were back in the 50s.
Wait, so they're like live, like
the Honeymooners, I Love Lucy, those were live.
So when it aired, when it aired, it was an actual live performance. Like, so it wasn't.
When you watch, a lot of those really, really old sitcoms, like the Honeymooners, those are all live.
Really, it's kind of like an SNL kind of thing.
That's
weird. Oh, like it's still scripted, so it's like you do need some. So like.
They had rehearsal a lot.
That's basically a fucking play.
Even then, sometimes they forget. Sometimes they forget.
That's basically a fucking play with cameras, pretty much.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that because those shows were literally live. Like, okay, you really can't get another take.
It's pretty much a play. That's what it was. Live. The Honeymooners was a play. It was live. It's basically a play.
Yeah, it was
filmed on TV.
It was a really big, really influential play that changed the course of TV media forever. But yes,
of course,
it was a play.
But. As those weren't like the first sitcoms, right?
Yeah, just about. Yeah.
Really, Honeymoon was that old? Jesus Christ.
I think there might be a couple.
I Love Lucy was a big one.
That's another one. I think that was also live.
So the old
it was around the same time. It wasn't like that far forward from the Honeymooners, so it probably was also. Because that was still a common practice for a long time, actually, where older shows would just be live.
Really?
Yeah, and of course, when they had recordings for the few reruns they would show, sometimes they would tape some stuff over, which is why we have a lot of shows that have a lot of missing episodes.
Well, you said influential, which it was, but there's a lot of plays that are influential too, right?
Plays are influential in the movie scene. Well. But I mean, not so much in our medium.
In recent years,
Hamilton's
yes. Like one of the most
Hamilton's a big deal
of the fucking
absolutely.
Decade.
But
you know what I'm saying? Like,
how many others have you heard from like this?
Century? Recently, but this era, there's a few like always have like those huge like that American Psycho. They have Streaker Named Desire was a very big play.
But Streaker Named Desire has been. That's what I'm saying. Like,
but no, I'm saying in terms of like there have been.
But
that's the point because the Honeymoon is not recent. That's like. At that point,
that being said, there were still big sitcoms around. Like, there's not that many big plays.
There's not really no big sitcoms. Right? Like, just a couple ones.
They're only just now dying.
Yeah.
Like,
but plays never dying. Plays always hot shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, Broadway is the shit.
The only play that's been hot shit for like 30 years was like Hamilton.
Hamilton is not 30. Hamilton is very recent.
I know it is. It's the only one. I said it's the only one in 30 years.
Do you
like, look at all the plays that come out.
Before you make that comment, are you even like in the fucking Broadway circle? Like, do you know what's even hot or not?
Kinda. Like, let's see. Was Chicago before or after the 80s?
I don't know.
Because that was the last. That was the last big one.
They had Carrie, they had Fences, they had all types of shit.
Well, Carrie is more known as a movie, even then.
But it started off as a play, which was
no, it didn't. It started off as a book.
Well, a book. I mean, like
start off as this book.
I'm saying to the mass medium, like it started off as a play. It was a big play first before it became a movie.
Oh, it was a big book before it came. Are you sure the play came out first? Because it was a really popular.
I'm sure the play came out in the 80s. I mean, the Carrie play came out in the 80s.
The movie came out in the 70s.
Really? Okay, fine. But even so, there's a bunch of like great like plays that started off as Streaker Named Desire came out first before the movie.
Yes, it did.
Extremely influential. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm not even thinking about right now that was played.
But I would argue that the movie is even more influential than the play. Well,
that's your opinion, but I'm saying
because like you think the movie, you think Marlon Brando.
Bro, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because obviously. Movies reach a bigger audience because it's fucking films. It's in theaters all over.
Yes.
Broadway is really only Broadway. And it's just this house is all over, but Broadway is Broadway. But Broadway is still a huge market. And it does shape the industry a lot. Because a lot of those actors come from Broadway. That you see.
A good chunk do. Yes.
A majority of them.
Yes. A large amount of them do. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So Broadway does have his own, thing in the media. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a big Broadway guy either, but I do have appreciation for a play. You know what I'm saying? Like, plays are humongous. Scripts, playwrights, screenplays, like those are fucking, you know what I mean, like massive. Like those shows are like, you know what I mean, like those shows are huge. You know what I mean, like those they hold a lot of weight. Hamlet and all those Shakespeare plays, like come on, like those are,
but
you know what I mean, like.
But my point was that there haven't been like aside from Hamilton, when was the last time you heard of a really popular play?
I'm sure there's a bunch of popular stuff that we not know about because we're not theater buffs.
No, but
you know what I'm saying.
But that's the thing, like. Even if it's only popular in the theater world,
no, but I'm saying we're so not in that circuit. It probably are popular shows that we probably don't know about. Hamilton's just like
I'm sure there are popular shows.
Of the plays.
I'm sure there are popular shows in the theater world, but the thing is, the only thing that's like
past that
popularity
is Hamilton. In the world too. Like for instance, like if you know basketball's a huge thing. You know what I'm saying? But the only play you would probably know is Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? But there's a bunch of great players that's out there that's very popular that you don't know about, right?
Yeah, they're popular in the basketball. They're not. Yeah,
basketball still has a huge audience. Yes, millions upon millions of people know that. I'm not
saying it doesn't.
So, but they are big in terms of, and they are
basketball probably has a much bigger audience than Broadway does.
Yeah, it is. But the point is that there's still a huge audience, and there's still people out in the outside world that doesn't even really know basketball like that still would know who Stephen Curry is or Russell Westbrook or Kevin Durant. But you probably would know the only ball player you probably would know is Michael Jordan because he's the biggest of the biggest. That's what Hamilton is the biggest of the biggest. So everybody that don't even know Broadway at all would know Hamilton because that's the biggest thing. But it doesn't mean that there's not other huge shows to come out within recent years.
Not anywhere near that huge.
You don't know that.
Hamilton broke crazy records.
I'm not saying that Hamilton is a different. Hamilton's a different beast. But my point is that there's still very successful shows.
Yeah,
they're big. They're big in the world.
And most of them are like 30 years old. Or
no,
more?
I'm pretty sure there's big stuff recently. They had a Harry Potter show. They had a whole bunch of within recent 10.
Oh, I mean the Harry Potter show that nobody liked.
But the point is that there was like still huge show. The Lion King, the Lion King is a huge show. There's a whole bunch of that we don't really know off the top of our heads or really know because we don't dabble in the theater circuit. But on top of that, we don't dabble in it that so to the point where we really would know like this the creme of the creme, which is Hamilton. Hamilton stands alone. It's the Michael Jordan. It's the different beast. You know, he stands on it. Stands is just popular in general. But there are very popular shows that's I'm sure within the last 5-10 years that we don't know about because we don't brush up on it at all. We're disconnected from that. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to be disconnected. But you can still not be in the theater circuit and still know about it. Like for instance, like somebody would know about like play like Kyrie Irving. They don't really watch basketball because he's a popular player. But if you're really disconnected from the NBA, the only player you will really know, like my grandmother, she only really would know like Michael Jordan or LeBron James. Because those like the biggest guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean there's not a whole bunch of other big players that are widely popular and widely known. Correct? Same thing here. There are probably a bunch of other shows that are widely popular, widely known that we don't really know about because we're so disconnected from that. Because you don't really watch play. What's the last play you've seen?
Blackbird.
And when was that? And don't say
2 years ago
for school, because the last play I watched was for school.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw when it was new. I think it was 2017 or 18.
Do you go to plays often?
Well, they're kind of too expensive. I kind of don't think it's worth that kind of money.
Yeah, it's really, but it's live. It's different from going to the movies. Like getting lives.
To be honest, I feel like you're just paying more for an inferior product. I just don't think.
It's pretty top notch. I went to a play.
I just can't justify that kind of.
I went to a Broadway play, off Broadway play with this actor. It's actually he's a popular actor. You know, they actually was like not fucking on screen, but it was pretty much like soft corn on the stage.
Yeah. I'm
like, I didn't know that. I didn't know it got that far.
Plays go very experimental stuff, especially when you're off Broadway. Off Broadway is when you get the interesting stuff.
It was no break. I'm like, whoa. I'm like,
yeah, because you don't see that so much in Broadway plays.
Basically blowing him, and I'm like,
yeah.
Like obviously, I guess she didn't actually blow. Obviously, it's not.
Maybe
porn,
not. No.
But you know what I mean. Looked like damn it. The dude had his pants off. You know what I mean. Shorty had her titties out. Maybe they had because sometimes they put on fake breast and ass too. So you never know.
I guess it could. Yeah.
Could have been fake too, but still. It's still pretty visceral. You know?
I feel like you're getting really off topic.
Yeah, we are, but we're edited around them. But anyways, let's get back into the network conversation. So he said, so we know what network shows are. Shows that are on like, these big channels, right?
Yes.
So what are some network shows not network shows, but like what are some network genres? Well, what are the genres that dominate these network shows? Like these primetime networks.
Well, historically, sitcoms have always been very popular. Also, cop dramas have also been very popular.
Cop dramas like CSI.
Yeah, your CSI, your NCIS, and Law and Order, all that stuff.
Yeah,
all that's been very big.
20+ years in.
A lot of them are. Yeah,
but they had this regular series like Psych. You have legal.
You get
dramas.
Yeah, you get a lot. Yeah, well, Psych is kind of like a weird example of them like just getting weird of shit.
But basically, like we gotta get too specific. Like so we know that it's okay on screen. So we have like pretty much network shows are broken out in very simply. You have your 1 hour dramas.
Yes.
And your 30-minute sitcoms. And you have your single camera and you have your multi-camera live audience.
Yeah.
And then you have your game shows and then you have your live contestant shows and then you have your reality shows. Those that's pretty much the network TV.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I think that's a perfectly fair way.
Or they have it's pretty much because and there's 1 hour dramas. Yeah. So you have consistent dramas which are like you have mini series, you have full series, but series that pretty much end, not like these never ending procedurals or dramas like Law and Order and
true.
I mean, but procedurals are the shows pretty much to like never end because always a different.
Exactly, like
there's a different content every single episode.
They're almost purely episodic.
It is episodic. It's extremely episodic.
That's what I said, almost purely. Because the only way you get more purely episodic than those if you're like one of those anthology series like Twilight Zone. Because that's like really, like nothing really connects them. Typically there are 1 hour dramas and 30-minute comedies.
Yeah, 30-minute comedy, single camera and multi-camera live and stuff.
There are, but even then those are just different subgenres of the 30-minute comedy. Those all fall into that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, there's very few exceptions.
Oh, so my highest rated. Like, what do you think is gonna be like the most high? What do you think is the highest rated shows right now?
Oh, highest rated? Oh.
When highest
you mean highest rated or you mean highest viewed? Because those would be very different things, I imagine.
Highest viewed. Now ratings translate to viewership as well.
Not always.
In TV language.
I mean,
yes.
look at The Wire.
No, in TV language ratings are viewership, pretty much.
Alright, well, I think
it's viewership within the demographic. No, that I'm positive. Because I look at a lot of those breakdowns, like on like the hottest shows, like it's broken down. They don't say viewership; they go into ratings. Ratings is like correlated to viewership, at least in the TV world, in the viewership world. So.
Oh, you actually let me talk this time? Okay. So, I think the highest viewed stuff is gonna be a lot of those like primetime cop shows. I think that's gonna be also where you find there.
Right, and why do you think out of all those shows, those like the most popular right now?
Because that's what resonates with the people that are actually watching TV. You know, most people our age, a lot of us have like stopped watching TV. Like, as a fact that people of our age demographic we've seen an increasing amount of people just completely ditch cable in favor of just having multiple streaming services.
Yeah, but what do streaming services show? Shows, aren't they?
Yeah.
So that would be in the conversation of like highest viewed or highest rated shows, right?
Yes, it would be. But that being said, there's still a whole bunch of people that watch cable. And those people are the older people that sit on their asses all day, don't do anything.
So what about within the 18 to 49 demographic? Because that's what really like those viewerships are based off of. 18 to 49 demographic. So do you feel within the
18 to 49 is kind of a big fucking demographic.
It is. It's huge, but 18 to 49 are people that
shouldn't it be like 18 or 30? Shouldn't it be like 18 to 30 or 18 to 35?
No, 18 to 49 within that age limit. Those are still people that's like going out. Those aren't people that's necessarily home on Saturday nights. You're thinking about elderlies, like 60s and 70s plus. 49 people. My dad 52 and he's never in the house. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much how.
I'm thinking like 40, 50 people because 40, 50 people don't really have much lives mostly. Some of them do.
In your experience, but for the 40 people, 50 people that I know and I ever met, and all over my life has been busy people that have jobs, people that's married and still have active lives, social lives. You know what I'm saying? They go away. I don't know any 50-year-old person, 45-year-old person that's like in the house at all. Only people that I know that stays in the house for that long are people that's like either debilitated and they literally can't go nowhere, and elderly people. So if you think because those shows, maybe they hit like those like soap operas, those daytime shows, like hit that demographic and that's why they get in viewerships, that's one thing. But 18 to 49 demographic, do you still think those shows are... Well,
considering that you're going all the way up to 49, I think it's going to play a big part.
I literally just broke that down. Like, did you hit anything I just said?
Yeah, I did.
All right. Then.
But from my experience, a lot of people in that age range don't really.
But it's a reason why they do 18 to 49.
It's such a wide goddamn age range.
Not really. It's our parents. It's us and our parents. That's pretty much what the demographic is.
Exactly. That's a whole. That's multiple generations in one demographic. That's insane.
Yeah, but I just told you the reason why it's like that, because there's still people that's 18, 49 people are people that's still on the go. Maybe the interests are very different, but it's still people that's on the go. Not too different, because my dad watches a lot of shows that I watch, and you know what I mean, so forth. You know what I'm saying? Like,
really, because
like, a lot of old people that 30s, 40s that watch the same show.
From my experience, a lot of older people seem to not even watch a lot of shows that a lot of people our generation watches. Like, I feel like there's like very clear divides on the generalized interests of our generation. I'm sure there's a good amount.
My uncle put me on shows like Breaking Bad. He put me on Breaking Bad and House of Cards. And those shows that I started watching. My dad has watched Into the Badlands. You know what I mean? And he don't even watch TV like that, but those are shows that he watches.
Well, congratulations.
I don't know any 40, 50 people that really watches like network shows other than like those reality shows. Those the live contestant shows.
Well, I come from a whole fucking family of them, so trust me, I've seen plenty of them.
Like, your parents watch sitcoms, stuff like that, but my friends watch sitcoms too. Like, one of my good friends, Chris, he watches Big Bang Theory too. I watch Big Bang Theory, and you know what I mean. My dad watches a little bit of Two and a Half Men, and your parents, you said, watches those kind of sitcoms.
Yeah.
So that's 18.
Those are old
that's 18 to 49 demographic right there. You know what I'm saying? I just gave you. So the interest is still there. You may not believe that because the people that you know that probably that old are like old. You know what I'm saying? Well, how many people do you know like actively that are 49? Because your parents are not even that age. Your parents are like in their 60s. So
no,
Well, your dad is 60, right?
He likes. Yeah,
and your mother's in the 50s. That's beyond the demographic. So they're not in the demographic technically. And even them, they still watch some of the shows to what we watch. They watch the sitcoms
they don't watch. They don't watch anything that I fucking watch.
Well, they watch the sitcoms that me and my friend watch who are in the 18 range, right? I just gave you an example. I watched Big Bang Theory.
And I think you're weird for watching Big Bang Theory.
Not really. I know a lot of people that watch Big Bang Theory. I seen a girl on the train that watches
our age.
They in their 20s, yes. What are you talking? People watch sitcoms all the time.
Those are old people shows.
In your opinion, but there's not in your opinion, because you don't watch sitcoms like that. But there's a lot of people that watch sitcoms. A lot of people watch sitcoms. That's in our age group. A lot of them. A lot of them. That's a you thing. And I'm getting to. There's a lot of people that's our age right now that don't even watch TV. You know what I'm saying? They watch.
There's a
they either watch YouTube videos, vlogs, or they watch
streaming service.
Some streaming service. A lot of some of them do, but most of the people that like that's our age, a lot of them don't watch TV, especially if they have busy lives. They mainly watch this YouTube stuff or Instagram or Facebook or videos. Like they don't really watch TV anyways. But if they do, there's usually would be like a streaming service kind of thing because they don't have cable. You know what I'm saying? But people that do own cable, they watch sitcoms. You know, I'm not saying it's that popular. I'm not saying it's a popular thing, but they do watch it. You know what I'm saying? It's more of like 30s plus, you know what I mean? But 40, 30, we're not 40s, 50s plus, but it's still in the 18 to, because when they do their ratings on the scale in viewerships, they go to the 18 to 49 demographic. Well, that's a huge demographic line right there. That's right before you hit elderly.
Well, all right. Well, if I'm wrong in that case, then what is the highest viewed show?
All right, what
are the highest viewed shows?
Let's see if you hold true. Well, for the first three. Well, I'm on Variety right now. I'm watching that. So that's what they So it's rating share in 18 to 49 viewer. That's how they break it down.
Okay.
Right. So in the first three ranked are live sports, which is obvious, like the pro.
Okay. Like sports are crazy popular.
Obviously, baseball stuff, basketball stuff, NFL stuff. That would be. And I'm talking about, and I'm doing this year stuff. I'm not doing overall.
Yeah.
So you have you have the NFL Sunday Night Football. That's number one. You have Thursday Night Football, and then you have Monday Night Football.
Jesus, a lot of football.
And then you have the Masked Singer.
Okay.
Surprised NBA is not in this. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, actually too.
Yeah, so I'm in the top 100, the 100 top rated series of 2019 to 2020 adults 18 to 49 list on Variety. No MLB because I guess it didn't season really fully happen yet. I guess.
I suppose.
NBA, I'm surprised because the playoffs has happened, so I'm surprised that's not. Well, it is 2019 to 2020, so maybe early in 2020, not right now. So
I guess, yeah,
fine,
that's actually good. That's a good point.
And that's weird because football don't happen. But find the I guess
football is crazy.
In February and March, the Super Bowl happened, and that's like the most viewed shit ever because they have like the halftime performance, some of the most popular commercials out there.
Yeah,
they fight for spots, but fine. And then right underneath the football stuff, you have the Masked Singer, which is on Fox, and that is a live contestant show, like Dancing with the Stars or American Idol or even Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Or the X Factor, America's Got Talent.
Yeah, there's a ton of those shows out there.
Yeah, so that's what and Masked Singer is generally new too.
Okay.
So I guess it's pretty much a show where like celebrities that you never heard of in years come up, they mask themselves and they perform, and celebrity judges have to that are the judges for that episode have to figure out who it is by how they sing it.
Okay.
So I don't know who wins that, but fine. I'm surprised Jeopardy's on this because Jeopardy's a huge show.
Yeah.
Or Wheel of Fortune, or Price is Right.
Yeah.
Or any of those game shows on TBS or those other channels.
Yeah, there's a ton of those game shows out there.
So,
Jesus Christ.
The Ninja Warrior. Nothing but fine. So we have the Masked Singer, and then the Last Dance was on ESPN. I don't know what that is. And This Is Us. So this is the first. So This Is Us is one of the highest rated shows right now. That's on NBC. That's the first scripted.
It's a sitcom.
It's a drama. It's a drama, but it's not an action. It's just a drama.
All right.
It's a drama with Milo Ventimiglia from Heroes.
Okay.
Sterling K. Brown, and Molly something. Mandy Moore. That's who it is.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So I heard that show. That show was like on billboards everywhere. So I'm not surprised that show was doing pretty well.
Yeah.
but I didn't know it was like the highest. But it is a huge show, so fine. The Bachelor, that's another live contest. That's like a reality contestant show, kind of. They compete for the love of one guy. Stupid, but we're fine. I guess he's rich and popular, so girls want clout, whatever. That's beyond the point. But The Bachelor's up there. Grey's Anatomy, which been on forever.
Oh my god!
It's like six. It's almost long as Supernatural.
I feel like it's older
than
me.
No, it's not. But like, it's as old as Supernatural, maybe even older, because it's still not going.
I think it is older.
Yeah, at least Supernatural's ending this year. Like, this shit is not ending yet. Like, this is Shonda Rhimes' most long-running show ever.
Yeah, I'm like,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't think a show like at least a show with like a consistent storyline like that should last for so long.
Because yes, I'm saying, because at least with the episodic stuff, you always like, as like Law and Order's all the spin-off shows, like dude, they have different characters almost every other season. You know what I mean? Like so.
Yeah, they do.
It's episodic. It's not. Yeah. It's like there's a consistent main character, consistent narrative that's stretched out for so long. Like.
Yeah, I feel like you can have a series like that's stretched out while it's suffering. I think
like 7, 8 seasons max, 10 the absolute max.
Yeah,
11 if you really need to tell something specific.
No,
but after 11, that's like definitely.
Cool. I don't think 11 is.
But 10 and 10 is usually like the most. That's the threshold.
Yeah. I agree with you completely. I don't like anything.
But Grey's Anatomy's still kicking. That's why I guess it's still hot right now. That's why it's still showing.
It's still popular.
It's still bringing in money.
People are still watching it.
Yep. 911 is on Fox too. Fox surprises a lot of shows.
Cop show, okay.
That's a recent cop procedural. The main character, I think, is Angela Bassett. It came out like last year, but it came out hot swinging, so that's up there too. Mm-hmm. Chicago PD, like Chicago Fire, Chicago Law, like.
Yeah, the Chicago shows, which I didn't realize Chicago, the city, would become a franchise, but it has.
It did. So you have Chicago PD, that's big too. That's that rounds off the top 10.
Yeah. So, out the top 10, 2 of them were cop shows.
Okay, you have one that's decent. AMC, The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead's gone
that's
really downhill.
I guess so, but overall, that's.
I mean, I guess it's a step up from what we had in the top 10. I'll give it that.
So this is probably the first non-procedural or game show or
because that
or live
that in itself is another perfect example of a scripted show that went on too long.
Yeah,
it really has.
Survivor, which I mentioned earlier. Survivor, Chicago Fire.
Yeah, Chicago Fire. I think that
is up there.
Am I wrong? Or was that the first of the Chicago shows?
I don't know.
I think that's the first one I've heard of, at least.
So The Walking Dead is 11. Survivor's right underneath. Then you have Chicago Fire. Then you have Modern Family.
Is Modern Family still in the air?
No, it ended I think early this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I knew.
Early this year was last season.
Because I knew it ended at some points.
11 seasons.
Man, I feel so old. Yeah. I remember when Modern Family was.
I went when Big Bang Theory was out. Big Bang Theory ended last year. 12 seasons. It's crazy. 2.5 Men. 2.5 Men. 2.5 Men happened a little, but it came in 2003, so it was a while. But still, that ended for years now. Smallville. Smallville started really early too, but still, that's done. 10 years of that. Supernatural's about to be now. I remember with the first TV spot of Supernatural. That's around the time I started watching Smallville for the first time. Mm-hmm. So that came around the same time. So it was Smallville, then Supernatural right after on Thursday nights. And now look at it. Supernatural's done now. 15 years. And I've seen it from the beginning to the end. It's crazy. I became a man within that show. So yeah, And you have Lego Masters, which is another, I think that's Will Arnett. That's a big, that's a big live contestant show, like a Top Chef kind of deal.
Huh.
So that's in it. The Good Doctor, which is it's a pretty big show right now. The Good Doctor is on ABC. That's with Freddie Highmore from Bates Motel.
From Bates Motel.
911 Lone Star. So, wow, so they already got a spin-off for that. And that show just came out.
Wow.
The Voice, that's a big one. Right? I didn't even think about that one. That's a huge one. That's all like the celebrity musicians.
The Voice
they pick out somebody. The Voice, AGT.
Dancing with the Stars.
And that's with the Stars. And the X Factor was big, but I guess it's kind of over now. I haven't heard much from it.
X Factor was over for a long time though.
Yeah, but that was big for a little while too. I guess it fell off. Chicago Med.
Yeah.
Chicago's killing it. And then 20 is NCIS. Mm-hmm. And then you have American Idol Mondays. New Amsterdam, which is actually a friend of mine. Actually, my AC for my short film is in that show.
Oh,
he was an extra. He played an extra a couple times. It's not much, but still. The demographics. Like we get that. I was 1849. That's how they calculated. That's who they're trying to target a wide adult audience. That's how they make their shows. At least But that could be why the shows come a lot weaker, because they want to get specific audiences. Because 18-year-olds, 25-year-olds, they're more, social media inclined, YouTubes and young people stuff, you know what I'm saying? So maybe if they did operate like that, it'll probably get better content. Because when you're trying to hit many different audiences, and this is what network TV shows do. That's part of why the content, especially in Prestige or something that could they're trying to, it's not even just adults, they're trying to get interest of adults, of all adults from all age ranges and beyond. They want to get something that everybody can come together and watch. You know what I mean? They want to put it so because older people may feel like putting so much vulgarness out there may be bad for the younger people. They want to not be vulgar, but they still want to incorporate vulgar content just to keep the interest of the younger people. Because one thing we could do is say younger people are more averse to having, to be more blatant with the vulgarity and the raunchiness. Yes. Rather than a more conservative baby boomer or people who taught to move with a little bit more class.
I mean, of course, these are large generalizations, but this is a generalization that I've found in my experience to be generally true.
So we're talking about, I think it is a thing by my experience, but for the purpose of this conversation,
I mean, I've seen plenty of examples of what you're talking about, so I know it's so real.
So it's definitely there. It's definitely there in some degree.
Yes.
So when a show like Empire, for example, like it is a show much different than a show like Power, which has no rating. They pretty much is a mature audience. They don't care. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But however, they still would attract the 18 to 49 demographic. They still would attract that, but they're not trying to pertain to everyone. They're trying to pertain to what they're trying to make. You know what I'm saying? And they're trying to make a reality to some degree.
To a degree, yes.
Through the level of cursing and violence out there. Mm-hmm. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? But however, they will filter it on a network show because they're trying to maintain a broad. They're trying to get from young kids, young adults to adults. So they're they're trying to get a broad range. I'm not saying it's the ideal, but that's what they do. That's why they do what they do. Because they're trying to maximize the amount of viewership they can get.
Yeah, and that oftentimes creates problems because, like, when you try to appeal to everybody, you'll appeal to nobody. Yeah.
But in general instances, with all popular shows that exist, it is attracting the 18 to 49 demographic, anyways. You know what I'm saying? However, maybe it should be a little more concentrated. You know what I'm saying? Or not even that. Not make stuff to worry about getting all these different interests together. Just make what you make, and the audience is gonna come. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the big difference between like streaming services and these shows nowadays, rather than like these network shows that we grew up on. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, yes. Because you want to be like a show like Empire wants to be like, for example, Empire. They want to be like a Power. You know what I'm saying? But they filtered it off because they still want to maintain to the general audience. Yeah. 1849 is the general audience, so they're trying to pertain to that general audience, while still having things like lean and mild cussing and a little bit of sexual content to keep us interested somewhat in music. You know what I mean? That's why the music that they make isn't going to be as vulgar as what they really make out here.
No, not even close.
You know what I mean? So and that's what kind of, you know what I mean? And also they also like extreme episode counts. With iFollow network shows.
Yeah, there's a lot.
The network counts are fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, like the average is.
The episode counts.
Yeah, the average is like 24, I think.
Not average, like that's average max. That's average max. It will go from like 20 to 24. That'll be like the range. And you're talking about someone that really enthuses and, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I haven't. Admittedly, it's been a minute since I've watched. Really any network TV.
The Arrowverse shows, all of them are pretty much 24 episodes, at least the main ones. But DC Legends tomorrow, they don't go more than 16, maybe 20 max. Supernatural, they was at 22 for a while, but then they dropped to 20. Smallville was 22 minus 2 seasons that went for 20 episodes. You know what I mean? But so 22 is probably more.
Okay, so maybe 22 is the average.
But 24 is usually where they. Yeah. If you're trying to categorize all of them. Really,
that's where most of them fall.
But you do have like the ones that start in the winter, like January to March, April, May. That will be 16, 15 episodes. And then you have shows like Empire, which does 9 and 9, and they make 18 episodes because they drop 1 9 in the fall season, and they come back in the spring season, drop another 9.
Okay. Okay.
You know,
I didn't know that's how they organize.
So so it's actually getting a little bit more disorganized nowadays because I think they're trying to accommodate the emergence of network shows. So they're making more smaller episode counts.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that is what they're doing.
But sitcoms in general, sitcoms is more than 24. That's what I'm talking about. Sitcoms like Big Bang Theory, 2.5 Men, Mike and Molly, they do 22, 24 episodes. That's what they do. Mm-hmm. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air do 25, 26. Seinfeld do 24. So sitcom, that's what you're thinking about. Sitcoms do 24, but 1 hour dramas, they do more, 20, 21 episodes, 22 episodes. Unless you're getting into the CSI stuff in the NCIS, they do like 22 to 24 sometimes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's pretty much But what do you think is the problem with like having those bloated episode counts?
Well, really, it's like mostly a problem in shows that try to tell a cohesive story, but
like the Arrowverse shows, for example.
Yeah, like those shows. Oftentimes, like you feel like these plots are just very stretched out, and sometimes that can be very detrimental because it can totally mess up the pacing of your story. There are many stories that can be told with the right pace. Some stories are meant to be told with a much slower pace, but many of them are meant to be told with a fast pace. Yeah. And many of the stories that network TV likes to tell, especially with these Arrowverse shows, I feel like a lot of them would benefit from a much faster pace of their story time. But here we have these like very bloated, where there's like many episodes where nothing happens. Like I remember when I was watching Arrow.
And what do you call those episodes? And what do you call those episodes?
Filler. That's what they are. We feel like they have filler episodes. At best, having like a minute or two of actual important stuff in it. And I remember I was very frustrated with Arrow when I finally stopped watching because I felt like the only interesting or even important things that were happening at the very end for the cliffhanger for the next episode, and I would have to wait.
Yep, like 6 months.
Oh,
I think talking about
I was meant going from episode to episode, but yeah, that too.
And sometimes they be taking like 2-3 week breaks sometimes in the middle of that.
Occasionally they did, yeah.
Yeah, because they have to because those networks are so bloated with other shows that they have to accommodate other shows, sports stuff, news happening.
Sports stuff always gets in the way of anything.
And it's not even just that news stuff, a whole bunch of stuff because they're in the it's not privatized. It's like a public thing. So it's like a public network. You know what I'm saying? Like you're in you have commercial ads. You know what I mean? You have news. You know what I mean? They accommodate so many different things. Like streaming services are very specific. You have it's on demand. It's very specific. That's why they're thriving more.
You even have like super specialized streaming services like Curiosity Stream or Shudder, which specialize in documentaries and horror films, respectively.
Yeah, like they give you what you want. They're really specifying what you want specifically, and they make content just for you. Yes. And they're saying pay this one fee. You don't have to worry about no ad, nothing. You just get what you want, and that's it. Because we live in a generation where we're less patient.
Yeah,
like, I can't think of anybody.
Yeah, that's very much
that wants to wait every week to watch their show or wait on somebody else's time to watch a show that they want to watch. That's why they have DVR. Like I don't watch. I can't tell you the last time I've actually waited a specific time and day to watch a show. I DVR everything. At least the residual stuff that's on network. The shows that I do watch on network TV, which is very minimal. Like maybe 2 or 3 shows that I watch right now that's on live TV. It's all pre-recorded. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I record it over my DVR and I watch it when I want to watch it. I don't watch it Thursday 8 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like when they show. No. Yeah. That's not happening.
I haven't done that since. I haven't done that since like high school. Personally.
Me too.
And even then, like it was like I did it for a while for The Walking Dead, but even then, after a while, I just started DVRing it.
Yeah, I'm like it's way better. I watch it when I want to watch it, and I could skip ads. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's a big thing with network shows too.
Yeah, is it better to have a DVR?
Yeah. Imagine being interested in the story, and as soon as they hit like a big cliffhanger, or a big milestone, or a big revelation, all of a sudden, commercial break 5 minutes so you see what happens next. It's like a cliffhanger within the episode itself.
I've seen a lot of shows that do that too.
Especially procedurals like Lethal Weapon, Lucifer even does it. It's even so bad, now that they're even on Netflix, you still see those like cut to blacks in the middle of the episodes that if it was on TV, that would be where the commercials jump in.
Very much.
You know what I'm saying? So that really, because the show like Lucifer is much different from the other content that they have on Netflix.
It's very
different because it is still a network show.
Yeah.
It is a network show with a little bit more privileges. Mm-hmm. But that is giving the divide of a network show to a streaming service.
Honestly, Lucifer feels more like a Showtime show than a Netflix show.
Showtime shows are pretty much like HBO shows or Star shows.
Showtime actually. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, no.
Showtime. Lucifer operates like a Fox show or a CW show, pretty much. That's how it operates, and that's just one example.
No, it operates like an AMC show.
And AMC shows are very like dark. Preacher, Breaking Bad.
No, it's like
Walking Dead. It's very different from a show like Lucifer.
It's like an upbeat AMC show. I mean.
What kind of AMC shows that they have? Because only AMC shows that I know all the person is fuck.
Like it's an upbeat version of an AMC show.
Why you choose AMC though?
Because of all the networks I can think of, I'm like that's like the closest to what we're getting. I feel like.
I feel, but the AMC shows that I know are pretty daring. They don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They're fucking dark as shit. Honestly, was fitting into that lineup. If Lucifer was in AMC, it would be a new direction for AMC. Can we agree on that? Like,
it's also a new direction for Netflix.
I think they're just afraid to put it. Yeah, it is. Exactly, it's out of place. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
but I think you're just doing
place where it's like really not out of place.
I think you're just
It's anywhere you put it. Really,
I think you're just saying that though because you're just afraid to put it back into the Fox world because it does not work like an AMC show. It is not an AMC show at all. Maybe USA, if you want to go that far. That's probably the most, fair. And that's me stretching.
I forgot about
because USA does have upbeat kind of shows.
I forgot about USA.
Because USA and TNT does have like some procedural stuff, and they do have some lighthearted comedy, like Psych.
You're absolutely right.
Like USA has Psych.
USA and TNT both fit way better.
Lucifer could fit in after Psych. You know what I mean? They could fit in that world. So you do have. So you know what I mean? It's not even a robot, but at least it's a diverse enough content. That's more like AMC's much more dark. Yeah. Lucifer, could fit into USA. Fine, if you want to do that. That's a fair place to put it. Yeah. Actually, I think color palette wise actually could fit in really nicely with USA or TNT even so.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Its color palette's like somewhere in between Suits and The Alienist.
Yeah,
almost.
And even in like content a little bit.
Yeah.
Not content, but like the tone.
Yeah.
The tone. The tone of AMC is very different from because they had Preacher. Preacher was blasphemous. Violent, did not give a fuck.
Well, you could also argue that Lucifer's blasphemous, but I'm just
not really. You know what I mean? They pretty much pay respect to the Bible. They don't even veer from that. Only thing they veer from that is the fact that Lucifer. Okay, Daddy was mean to me. I'm actually a nice guy.
Well, Amenadiel isn't the oldest angel in the Bible, but
that's true. That's nothing too. But who cares? That's not a big deal.
We don't really care.
Yeah.
We're just saying shit just to say shit.
That's not important. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Technically, the Archangel Michael is the biggest.
Technically.
But that's what Michael and the devil are technically twins too, so that they get that part right somewhat. You know. Yeah. But anyway.
If only it could actually be that respectful to its actual source material.
Yeah. Right. Now the source material for Lucifer, that's not too big, but it is a much more of a difference over. Because it gets into different type of lores mixed into the.
Now that's a show I can see AMC doing okay-ish.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Lucifer, the real Lucifer show, the comic book adaptation,
the one that we actually have.
That would be in AMC. They would do a show like that for sure, or even Netflix. You know what I mean? Because that's much more violent, much more like, and it's very cerebral too.
Yeah.
The thing why a show like Lucifer is not cerebral like that, but a lot of network shows, especially like I want to say FX is a cutoff. They operate like a streaming service, but
kind of.
ABC, CBS, NBC, they're not that cerebral. They're not that deep.
CBS is kind of weird because they are and they aren't. They aren't for their actual channel, but for all access they kind of
streaming service.
I know, but it's weird that it's both. That's all I'm saying.
But CBS All Access is different from CBS. CBS is their TV network. All Access is their private stuff.
But as we've seen recently, like they've recut Discovery to be more palpable for TV.
And that shows you the difference right there. But that shows you the difference right there.
I know there's a difference, but it's just still weird that it's trying to be both at the same time. It's just a one-off thought. So
but it's two different things though. I get what you're saying because they're both CBS.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And they both very clearly work together. Like there's not.
They kind of, but it's different. It's different types of content.
I know they're technically
different.
Different
thing,
but they're also technically the same at the same time.
Okay, fine. But that shows you the vast difference. Like CBS, because you're trying to get the big audience.
Yeah. I mean, for all the crap CBS puts out, I'd
rather
watch
friendly.
their all access stuff than anything else.
You're trying to be some level of kid friendly and kid censored, mixed with adult stuff. So you have to sacrifice stuff. You know what I mean?
You do.
And even if a show on a network TV show would come off cereal at first, after the second, third season, it will fall off.
Yeah, there are many shows that you've seen that just become just stupid over time.
Like Arrowverse, all the Arrowverse shows, all of them became after season 2 and 3. They went to hell. The first 2 seasons, badass. Action, event, story was on point. But then it started to reveal their cracks because they kept recycling similar plot lines.
Yeah.
Because they have these bloated episode counts. So they have to come up with content. So they kind of rehash shit. They kind of keep the same overall storylines. They introduce a new villain, a new unlikely fucking villain of the week, just to make up for the episode counts. And it gets to the point where it's just ridiculous. Like, okay, this makes no sense. Like in Grimm, for example, on NBC, bloated episode counts. Almost every episode, it was facing a different monster every day of the week. So you're saying in one little town, there's a monster that appears every week?
Yeah.
You kidding me? That's not realistic at all.
No.
You know what I mean? But they have to make up for this huge episode count. So they can't just narrow into the main story.
Honestly, I feel like that specific sub with Grimm would have made way more sense if the main character was like a part of an active investigation squad going across the country or across the planet.
Like Supernatural.
Yeah.
The reason why Supernatural
like
works is because they travel the whole the Midwest area. They go all over the Midwest.
Like that's a big area for them to go through.
That's a bunch of states.
And I don't like Supernatural, but that makes way more sense.
From Chicago to Kentucky to Texas to Connecticut to Delaware. They go. You know what I mean? They all around. You know what I mean?
Like, they cover a large amount of the United States.
Exactly. So it makes more sense.
It does.
That, you know what I mean, that they have a monster every week because they literally actively go out to find them. You know what I mean? You know, but shows like that takes place in one city and you're solving crimes every day to every week. It's like, unless you're a CSI along the way, that's your job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it kind of.
It's kind of job in Grimm, but Grimm, you're talking about monsters. You know what I mean? Like, if you're facing off just homicides, that's fine because homicides do happen a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
even within a town.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. It's just something that happens.
Exactly. But monsters, you think monsters are gonna show up every week to this one specific town? Come on. That's when. But that's network to you. It doesn't matter because they're just trying to fulfill their quota.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of times where I feel like networks will do things just because they don't really care. They're just like, just go out and make my money.
But network show would be like, fuck that. Let's do, let's actually just cut all the middleman shit. Let's get to the let's build up to the actual thing we want to tell, the actual story. Let's build it up to the actual story that we want to tell, and we'll just scissor out all the bullshit by cutting down the episode length. Yeah. So instead, let's make it 8 to 10 episodes. You know what I mean? Let's blow out the episode minutes, like the minutes in each episode a little bit. To accommodate a full episode of things happening. And let's actually, you know what I mean, tell one cohesive story.
Exactly.
So now it doesn't become episodic, it becomes serialized.
Yes.
And that's the major difference between network TV and streaming.
Yeah.
Is that
streaming services are way more open to
premium channels.
Those two.
You know,
those also.
It's kind of, they're both in similar content, so I'm going to group them all together as streaming.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially since the biggest premium channel, HBO, has become a streaming service.
Yeah.
So
even Starz has a streaming service, Starz Go.
Yeah, that counts enough.
I'm pretty much Showtime's probably gonna start doing that too, low key. With Cinemax, you know what I mean? Like,
wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, because because CBS is doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
why
even
not?
CBS is doing it.
Yeah. They're making way better content because they don't have to go to all these guidelines and regulations.
Yeah. Instead of working with their network people, they spend a lot. I think for Discovery, they actually worked with Netflix on that. They worked with Amazon for Picard.
And small episode counts means you can invest more money in each episode because you don't have to put up $3 million for 24 episodes.
Exactly.
You can put up $6 million for 10, and you get to add in more crew, more VFX, more set designing. You know what I mean? More elaborate sets. And
I mean, their fucking shows look beautiful.
Exactly.
Like,
there's a reason because more money.
We get that if we are back to the old.
More money is invested in a show like The Witcher than
yes.
Supergirl. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like Supergirl, those Arrowverse shows look cheap as fuck.
They absolutely do.
Because the 22 episode counts. First off, they go off the ratings, and the ratings are not crazy high. They're high, but not that high. And they operate on like advertising money and all this kind of shit. So it's a very different revenue stream than what a streaming system is.
Absolutely.
Streaming system, they get that money regardless. They're getting that money regardless. They get money by the viewership that they get. Mm-hmm. So if they don't get a fuck ton of views, they can't put so much money into the shows. You know what I'm saying? And you have bloated episode count. So they're not going to put in $6 million for 24 episodes. You know what I mean? They'll cut the money down in half and probably invest $2 or $3 million.
But that's part of what the problem is because like a lot of these shows would be better if they just took a risk and invested into them to make them better. And that's part of why a lot of these network shows kind of like fail at is they're too afraid to take risks.
Okay,
we were still talking.
The character development with each character.
Well, long story short, it's just something that could make you way better if it was on Netflix from the beginning.
Exactly, because they would have scissored out all through that. Because the thing about like, okay, this is a good talking point right here. Okay. The reason why the show sucked was because of the it wasn't just the procedural element; it was the network TV element. Because the procedural stuff wasn't even a good procedural stuff.
No, it wasn't even.
When you work on a network platform, you have, especially Fox, there's so much limitations, and they have suits, you know what I mean, in these directions. Like for instance, like the stretching of the will they won't they.
Yes.
Network TV love the will they won't they relationships, which really suck. Which is fine at some points, but when you just keep fucking hammering down and just keep stretching it out to the point where it's just unrealistic.
Yeah, like I just hate that. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, it's tired. It's played out. You know, and it's just ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like we're at an age when you know what you want, let's go and get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just unrealistic. Like you're just trying to stretch it out just to keep your audience, because you know they love the Lucifer and Chloe relationship. So what you're gonna do? We're gonna stretch this out as much as we can, and the reveal, just to keep them on their toes and keep them watching every week.
Yeah, like it's where
because that's our gold nugget, pretty much.
Like if Lucifer wasn't canceled at the end of it at season 3,
it would have been the same exact show.
Yeah. Do you really think that they would have like revealed at that point if they weren't being canceled?
I don't think so, because even when they explained it, the way they sounded was that they wasn't. You know what I mean? But they knew to save themselves from being canceled. Yeah. They just know, okay, I have to put it in.
Yeah, like for however long the show would have lasted otherwise, if it was still on Fox. Like, if let's say it lasted a long time, I don't think they would have even let Chloe know until the very end.
That was their original plan. At least that's according to like how they sounded when they talked about it. Like that was the original plan. Was to like that's the whole thing is just them solving crimes. But the thing is that would have slowed the story down so much and would have kept it as a procedural. Mm-hmm. Now that Chloe knows, it's kind of forcing the show to become something more. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is.
But they're still trying to. But you could tell they're still trying to cling on to that shit. Mm-hmm. Which is really, really glaringly obvious that is just a threat to the show. That's such a threat.
Is the like?
It's the worst aspect of that show.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Like, because it completely just takes the focus away from where the show needs to be.
If it was a network show, it would have been focused, shorter counts. It would have got into the characters of Lucifer and got into more, just like exploration of different realms, different stories. It wouldn't have been one story that they're telling over and over. It would have been different situations, different scenarios. Mm-hmm. Like how network shows usually operate, you know? Yeah. Like how The Boys just finished off. Why The Boys finished off the season 3 is going to be very different because everybody's in different predicaments now.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like that's the beauty of how season 2 ended for that show, is that it resolved everything it needed to resolve while instead of maintaining the status quo, it instead decided to establish a new status quo for next season.
Exactly, and that's what a show like Lucifer never does.
No,
especially procedure, they don't. Because they're afraid if they break the status quo, they break the show. Mm-hmm. But if that's the case, then you have a poor show, because it's not about it's about if characters progress, You know what I'm saying? Tailor the show differently. For instance, that's what Smallville did. Smallville was 10 years. Mm-hmm. You think everything's going to be about him in high school facing the freak of the week? No. They know that the character Clark Kent was progressing. Yeah. So they had to create a new predicament and establish new status quos.
I mean, they couldn't keep him in high school forever. He already looked too old.
Exactly, in the beginning. But him as a character is progressing. He's becoming more. He's growing, physically and mentally.
Like that was one of the best parts of that show was to grow up with him. Almost.
Exactly, that's what the show did. Because from season 1 to season 8, where he's out working at the Daily Planet, wearing suits all the time, his hair's parted up from the mob head, dopey kid that just wanted to press Lana Lang and play football. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You have to grow your characters. And to grow your characters, especially your main characters, you have to establish new status quo. Like, for instance, the way Lucifer ended season 4, season 5 should establish a new status quo. You know what I mean? That's what season 5, that's why I was kind of shocked. I'm like, dude, the way they ended the show was like, that was like an end of an era, kind of, it felt. When Lucifer went off to hell, you don't come back from shit like that. That's a major decision that changes a show forever. You know what I'm saying?
And to add on to your point, like, one of the biggest examples of characters growing, in this case, literally, in fiction, is in Dragon Ball.
What?
Because in Dragon Ball, like, the first show, Goku starts off as a kid, but then they they actually made a very controversial decision along the way where they decided to have him grow up and become an adult. They had characters actually age, and that was a very new thing for an anime series at the time. They would have just kept it the same, just to sell more merch.
But that's what cartoons do all the time. They keep characters the same age. Like
animation,
Family Guy, Stewie's been one for like 20 years.
Yeah, like Bart Simpson has been he's like a 30-year-old, or like Ash from Pokemon, he's a 20-year-old, 10-year-old.
Pokemon's still going on?
Yeah.
Where in Japan?
No, it still comes to the States.
Really? Wow,
Yeah.
I did not know that. Bart Simpson's like what, like a 50-year-old, 12-year-old?
Ash just became 11 like a couple years ago.
like Stewie's one. Stewie was like 20-something years old.
Yeah, but Goku actually grew up, became an adult, and now he's like even older. So and that really actually because animation itself, like in Japan, like that was unheard of for an anime character back then.
Yeah.
So and now we wouldn't have had any if it wasn't for him to like pave the way, because we realized people grow up.
Yeah. And
people who grew up reading or watching Dragon Ball grew up with Goku, and even now that he's like an old ass man, that still looks mostly the same. We're still growing up with it.
Absolutely.
Like characters are meant to grow and change, so hopefully more so than Goku, because he is a simple-minded man.
But I'm saying that's the point. That's one of the big issues I have now. They're just afraid to break the status quo. That's a lot of thing with as relevant with a lot of procedural shows. You know what I'm saying? They get comfortable within a certain dynamic. Way too comfortable, and it becomes and it translates eventually into like after time into just recycle shit where you almost could predict exactly what's gonna happen. Yeah, like this guy's gonna crack a joke this way and he's gonna spot it this way. You know what I mean? And they're gonna walk into crime scenes and be whimsy all the time, and then it's gonna lead to a big fucking explosion. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. You know, like it gets to a way where you just predict the narratives. Yes. Like they're gonna suffer a huge loss.
I feel like you've described
probably lose a small character.
Lucifer to me.
Yeah, that's pretty much what. Like, and you can get to the point where you just know how each episode is gonna happen. Like, okay, so like Lucifer, the case of the week kind of thing. You know, like in the opening scene is gonna be how the person dies. And then it gets into you do a couple of interviews with a couple of suspects, and they be like, and they always say, he's dead. She's dead. I would never do that. And he explained way too much, and then it gets to and you realize the person that they interviewed first was the fucking killer all along, and they go in this big speech on why they did what they did, so Lucifer can learn. You know what I mean? Exactly what went wrong. Oh, not before at the beginning of Lucifer. He goes to therapy with a dilemma, and by the end of the therapy session, he's like, okay, I know what to do, but by completely ignoring his therapist's rules, and then he learns it through the case. Oh, really? This is the lesson, and then rinse, repeat the next episode. Yeah. And that's why there's no progression on this character. Emmanuel could have progression because he's not involved in the main plot like that. He's on his own time. You know what I mean? So you have to allocate a lot of why you think it's better to that too. The way it was done.
Yes.
It's done
because like
recording. It's done on exporting.
Okay.
Alright, but finish it.
But yeah, like I think I forgot what I was going to say. I completely forgot what I was going to say.
I heard about why Amenadiel had a better storyline because
he
was involved in the main plot.
Because they committed to his character growth. Yeah. They didn't do that with Lucifer. They would have him learn. It'd be like one of those horrible kids shows where the character would learn a moral and then forget the next episode.
I literally said it earlier when I was making my point. That's why you hate him because that's because the way he rated his character was just not, it doesn't work.
Yes.
Lucifer should have been a character that was first off actually bad. You know what I'm saying? That's first off.
Yeah, I would have liked him if he was like
with redeeming qualities,
or at least way more morally great than he is.
More like, cause that's how he's in the comics. He's very morally great. And he's very he's a huge sociopath. He's very manipulative. And he uses people from his own game. He kind of is like that in Lucifer, but they make him very tame.
He should have been tame.
Yeah, they should have really fucked him up. You know what I'm saying? They should have really strike a lot of that back. Mm-hmm. Like he talks to anybody the way he wants to. He walks in the place any way he feels like. The show kind of does that, but I mean really do it in an untamed, uncouth way. You know what I'm saying? Where he's blatantly don't give a fuck about nothing. You know what I'm saying? And then he learns structure and discipline. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that is growth. You know what I'm saying? That is true growth. That is a 180.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that. Like, because there we have an actual sense of progression from one to the next, which we're completely just devoid of from Lucifer for any long periods of time, and it's frustrating.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like we're just rambling about Lucifer at this point.
Yeah, I think we're covering a lot of shit.
We are covering a lot.
We're talking about that show.
I feel like we should just become the Lucifer channel at this point. So I'm just gonna put Lucifer in like the tags for all of our episodes, and so every time anybody searches Lucifer, all of our videos. Because I feel like every video, even based on Lucifer,
we talked about a lot of shit. We talked about Star Trek stuff. We talked about.
I might put in all of them.
911. We talked about Boys. We talked about.
Like we kind of go all over the place.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like,
I think that's great though. I like when we jump from one to the other.
We're using examples though, but our points are pretty much the same. Yeah, we're talking about the same points. We're using many different examples.
Realistically speaking, we could have picked a different show that had similar problems and have the exact same conversation. Almost.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what it is. And then another one of my favorite shows as well is 2.5 Men in terms of sitcoms. Because sitcoms is part of the network strata.
It absolutely is. So, it's a big part of the network strata.
So, you know, like...
Yeah, 2.5 Men is a very big deal. And it's just
like sitcoms about Chuck Lorre, like Mike and Molly.
Chuck Lorre
now he has Bob Hart's Abishola.
As much as I say to admit, he pretty much is like the sitcom king.
Yeah, he's really rich too. He's lucrative. You know what I mean? Like he runs.
Considering how much money his shows make, I'm not surprised.
Oh yeah, like come on, Charlie Sheen was making what $2.4 million.
Yeah, per
episode in his final season there.
Yeah.
John Cryer making $650. Ashton Kutcher took a spot, make $800K. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Then you have Big Bang Theory 3 was making $1 million an episode, and the other's making $800, another making $500. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, this shows are killing it. You know?
Yeah.
Lots of ratings. You know. So, but anyways, 2.5 Men. You know, which was a funny show, but in hindsight, it does follow the network strata. The best thing about that show was just the acting. It's just the banter between Charlie and Alan with a little bit of Bert and a little bit of Jake. You know what I'm saying?
The best parts of the show were Charlie Sheen and John Cryer. They're both...
Yeah, their dynamic was great.
They're funny.
Comedic gold.
They're like the only... they're like the things of that show that I like. Yeah. I don't really care much for any of the other characters, to be honest. There's a lot of that show I really don't care about, but those are the things I like about it. Is those two. They're the ones that have funny moments to me.
But they suffer from especially a lot of these newer sitcoms, where it's very inconsistent storylines.
Yeah.
Like Charlie Sheen is dating one girl this episode, and then the next episode is like she never existed. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's very inconsistent.
Yeah.
And it's very stupid too. Like the whole premise is actually kind of dumb.
It really
it's like
is. The more
Alan
you think
should.
about
Yeah.
it.
One thing about, like, for instance, like for shits and giggles, the character of Alan, a divorced guy. You know what I'm saying? His wife dumped him, threw him out, and he has to live on his brother's couch.
Yes.
And he raised him like a dog to give her a good life. However, you know, and the reason why he can't leave Charlie's house because Charlie Sheen basically fucked his divorce attorney, which prompted her to take revenge on him. You know what I mean? And since he left that thing like with less money, he couldn't afford a better lawyer, which then caused her, you know what I mean, to basically get a better chunk of the you know.
The money.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because alimony, so it's automatic, and he never signed a prenup, so that means automatically she's entitled to half. You know what I mean? Plus she has a kid that the kid's living with her predominantly, so that's already so
child support.
Yeah, so that's already child support on top of that, which is fine. But she still have enough money to live. You know what I'm saying? Like he's entitled to that, and on top of that, if the world attorney screwed him because she fucked his brother, that's extreme malpractice. Yeah, they right to sue her. And on top of that, why is he broke when he has a brother who literally makes 7 figures and a mother who's obviously very wealthy?
Why doesn't one of them buy him a house?
Exactly. Bought him a better lawyer. Buy him a house. Invest in his practice because he has an actual job. He's a doctor. He's a chiropractor.
Chiropractors make some pretty good money.
Yeah, and if you invest in a practice for him to really work, I mean, come on. So you rather have him sponge off you than invest in him so he can move out the house?
Yeah. I mean, these guys have so much money.
Like the premise is flawed.
Why not use it?
Even when Ashton Kutcher came, your best friend is a billionaire.
That was even worse.
And you tell me that he can't even buy you an own house? It's better if he just get you a house and pay it off and let you stay there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on. Oh, invest in your practice to help you get money. Give you a job. He owns his own company. You go do something for him. You know what I'm saying? You could be his in-house chiropractor or masseuse or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you telling me that that's it? No, they do it because they want to keep the story rolling. The story only exists if Alan stays in the house. Mm-hmm. And that really made it it's a situational comedy, so it has to be.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I actually wouldn't mind if a situational comedy actually decided to like completely change, just flip
that too,
just completely flip everything on its head.
That would be a first, but they wait until the show ends to really do that.
I know, and I don't like that.
Yeah. Because it's just about the comedy. It's about the stupid jokes. It's about the banter. You know what I mean?
I'm like,
which is the gold mine of the show, to be frank. You know what I mean? Like, I get it.
In terms of just,
it's not that character driven. It's more about just the comedy and what happens. Like shenanigans that they get into.
In terms of like those kinds of sitcoms, I feel like the one with like the best setup is probably just Seinfeld, just because it's just shit happening.
Yeah, like they just completely dove into that concept. It's about shit happening.
Yeah.
You know, that's it.
Like there's no contrived plot that you need to force into place.
Yeah. Friends kind of had growth in it.
Yeah, Friends actually did.
Yeah, Friends had progression.
For all of Friends' faults, even it managed to have characters that changed from season 1 to season 10.
But they changed the dynamic of shows in general, of sitcoms in general. Like they had a big impact. You know what I mean?
They would not. No one ever changed the dynamic of most of these shows.
Yeah. Friends pretty much established a dynamic there.
Yeah, established a dynamic and they stuck with it.
Yeah. Also, on top of other situational comedies, I also actually, a lot of the stuff that I liked from my network days are situational comedies. Like Young Sheldon, I like that show. A lot of Young Sheldon Cooper. I do like The Big Bang Theory. And I like New Girl. And The Last OG. You know, but TBS makes very decent sitcoms, so. Because The Last OG, it works kind of like a streaming show. You know what I mean? It's not vulgar, but it is a good feel show, and it plays into that. You know what I'm saying? It's really about like the morals and the lessons learned. You know, but you still feel the culture. You know, but you're not going into it knowing that you're trying to get something wrong. Like you're getting real, but you're getting like sunshines and rainbows too. You know what I'm saying? Like it is. You know, but and then the New Girl was just a fun cast, man, and some fun characters, and it's kind of like Friends. They all grow, you know what I'm saying? But people stay in that loft, but they grow, you know. They go through relationships. It's funny. They had a weird kind of humor which I liked. It's like very random humor, you know what I'm saying? You know, flat like kind of Family Guy flashbacks. You know what I'm saying? Like when somebody would say something and they go right into the flashbacks of exactly what they did. You know what I'm saying? That they're talking about, which is kind of funny to me, you know. And then you also have the cartoons like Family Guy and American Dad, which I like too. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of good stuff, you know. But a lot of my network days is really, that I think was good. It was just the sitcoms, you know.
Yeah.
But I remember you said that Big Bang Theory, you thought it was kind of
No, I hate Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, why? Explain that.
Like, honestly, it just feels very disingenuous and fake. Like, you can tell. I feel like it was like you can tell that it really wasn't made. But if it really comes across, it wasn't really made by someone who has a genuine interest in that kind of thing. Like, it's not made by nerds for nerds. It's really kind of made like make fun of them of anything, which even then it's not really that good. It's not really even funny.
I look, you feel like that sometimes too, because they do make fun of the fact that nerds are nerds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like...
And it kind of generalizes them, like, because they're nerds, they don't get girls, they dress like dorks.
I mean...
You know what I mean?
I mean, as someone who actually is in the nerd, like, or, like, the nerd, like social dynamic, like, trust me, I can tell you that is not even close to being...
Don't get me wrong, like, back in school, you did have those kind of nerds, those socially awkward nerds.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
that plays Dungeons and Dragons, and you do have that.
Oh, no.
Don't get girls, you definitely have that.
No, in my school, like, there was so much sex around, even the nerds were fucking. It was, like, admittedly, it's unusual, because my school was just so unusually sexually active, but that was a thing.
I get that, but what I'm saying is that I know nerds that exist, too. However, there's a lot of nerds that have girlfriends that's doing them.
Especially since,
you know what
like, nerd culture is like kind of like become more
accepted
by
exactly.
More accepted by the general public.
I know gangsters that love superhero movies.
Exactly. Perfect example.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
perfect example.
That plays chess, that loves video games. You know what I mean? Like, girls. I know girls that love anime. Yes. I know girls that watch more anime than me.
Yeah.
I know girls that play PS4 and they watch anime. You know what I mean? Like, and they cool as shit. They sexy. You know what I mean?
I've met many girls that also watch way more anime than you.
That's hot. You know what I mean? That hangs out, goes to clubs, do all this shit, but they like anime. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
You know, so it's like their girls just definitely be more because all of them liked it. They just never like to admit that they liked it. Because you feel that if I admit that, then I'm a nerd. Mm-hmm. Like me, a person that give a fuck.
No, I so do not either.
I'm into what I'm into. I could talk about girls, and then I could talk about freaking Naruto or Superman. You know what I mean? Like, and have deep conversations about that. You know what I mean? Like, and then I could talk about girls in sports in the freaking next argument. So it's like, I was always either or. You know, I do everything. You know?
Yeah, like I can always just like kind of phase myself in whatever social situation I need to be in.
Yeah.
Well, for the most part, unless it's a sports bar, in which case I'm just so fucked because I don't know shit about any of them. That's like the one place where I'm just like really just cannot fit in.
Yeah, I hear that.
Anywhere else, I can more or less fit in. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any topic that we haven't hit on? I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything. The worst network show. I think we kind of covered that too. We talked about Lucifer.
We did. We talked about a lot of shows.
Empire kind of goes into that.
We talked about a lot of shows that kind of bugged us for a long time.
I think it's my best network shows also become my worst.
It's interesting. It's really interesting for you because you were able to answer both questions with the same exact.
Yeah, because I'm like, I grew up loving these shows, but then I realized that I hate these shows as time goes forward. I mean, how bad it was, mainly because it followed that network TV bullshit. Like, it starts off good, but then each season gets repetitive to the point where it's like the show just fades into oblivion. It burns out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because they run out of content. It's overblown season lengths. It's just to the point where it's like, ugh.
Yeah, I think that's part of why I liked about House is that because like in House's last season they completely changed the dynamic of how that show worked. Like in the last season of House was in jail.
Yeah.
It was barely.
But Gotham changed in its last season too because it was pretty much a cop thing for the first 4 seasons. But by the last season, it became more of like a game of survivors. You know what I mean? Like they did like a no man land story where Gotham was just cut off from the world. Oh. It just got too crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that actually was a story. Like, the Batman comics called No Man's Land.
Yeah. So it kind of took part of that. So but they waited to the last season to finally do that. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of broke the show somewhat. But even they still kind of follow similar protocols. But at least that created a new dynamic, new relationships, new predicaments. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Real character progression. Things are actually changing. You know?
Yeah.
Because the best thing about those long shows is that you get to see characters progress.
Absolutely.
Like Big Bang Theory characters do progress. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, they do.
2.5 Men, nobody progressed. But you had a hell of a time, you know what I mean? Having fun watching them.
The only thing they progressed in that show is Jake's height.
Yeah, and getting and the show has always been what it is, getting Pootie Tang.
Yep. And
getting into these short-term relationships, and that's it. And it inevitably failing, lead to some cheap shots, jokes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all it is. But you have fun watching it. It's a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no substance in it. You know?
No.
You know, but that was cool. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying a lot of shows fell on that radar. You know?
I feel like as I grow older, I have less patience for shows without substance.
Me too. You know what I'm saying? Because especially me getting into the film world, I need shows with real consequences, real storytelling, rich characters.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't realize just how bad. Like, I always knew that there was something wrong with TV. Like, it wasn't as up to par movies. I didn't realize until I heard about, or I think it was something that Leslie Nielsen said on an interview. I don't remember, but he was on this show called Police Squad, which it had a lot of like it had really like this educated deadpan humor, and it failed on TV because it failed on TV even though it was a big hit on rental stores because it was the kind of show they had to think about it, so it wasn't meant for TV. Which, while that same show fell on TV, they brought it back as a movie, creating the Naked Gun trilogy, which was really successful. So, this whole decision that you have to think about doesn't belong on TV. It's just like, man, that's the fucking world we're living in. It's horrible.
Yep.
Man, I just hope that times can change. And hopefully streaming services have very much changed the way I view series since then.
It changed the whole landscape of like the way shows are and the way shows are perceived and the way shows are structured. You know what I'm saying? That changed the whole game.
It also really changed what shows could be. Now shows can look even better than most movies.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of these shows, especially Netflix and Amazon Prime, they look gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Like The Boys, The Witcher,
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Even Lucifer right now looks great. You know what I'm saying?
Lucifer it does look good. I'd say Lucifer looks on par with the movie, just about. Maybe a little longer. Almost. Maybe
better effects, but definitely cinematography wise for sure.
Yeah. Effects wise, absolutely not.
The Get Down, Jack Ryan, pretty much effects wise, stunts wise, and cinematography looks like a fucking movie.
It does.
Only thing is the music is pretty cheap, but everything else is great. Yeah. Cinematic as hell.
Yeah, exactly. These streaming services are very much bridging the gap, and honestly,
Altered Carbon is like a real sci-fi movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I haven't seen any of it, but what little I have seen looks very nice.
Good. And effects wise too, the shit looks like a fucking movie.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Blade Runner.
Almost, yeah.
That's because they invest real money. Like the Get Down, they invested $120 million for 7 episodes. No, for 6 episodes. All right, yeah. So I think we got.
Yeah,
how you feeling about this thing? Have you gotten all your shit out?
Yeah, I think I have. I'm glad that the last thing we said was what it was, because I'm just glad that our first podcast ended on a more positive note, because it could very easily end on a very negative note.
Yeah.
Because this is a very great time where we're seeing all these new technologies make our media better.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm looking forward to more stuff coming out, like Disney Plus releasing all these shows.
Yeah,
can't wait to see.
They're making a lot of Star Wars.
We got Mandalorian apparently. Season 2 coming out. The Star Trek stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's next. And I'm happy to finally say that after Supernatural is over with. That's other than a couple of sitcoms, I'm pretty much completely done with network shows.
Yeah, I'm just about done too. I think.
Yeah, I think I'm strictly almost completely on the streaming stuff.
The only network show I was really watching was The Orville, and that got picked up by Hulu.
Yeah, so even that's not. And The Orville, The Grey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hulu's got some low key really good shows.
Stranger Things, Lucifer, The Witcher. Mm-hmm. Sort of shows I watch, and I'm like, and that's all streaming.
Yeah, the only network shows I would watch are older shows I know I already like.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Those are it's all the past stuff. It's nothing recent.
Nothing new for me.
I'm not watching any new sitcoms. I'm not watching any new dramas on TV. No. It's all the streaming stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, I like to wrap this up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Just thank you for joining us for our very first podcast. This has been a very enlightening experience.
We definitely got a lot off our chest. We got a lot of, and I hope you learned something from this.
Hopefully,
gain something or you find an opinion within this long rhetoric that you actually somewhat agree with, or something that resonates.
Or are you just like listening to us yell at each other for hours?
You know. Anyway, just let us know what you think. You know, we got a lot more of this kind of style coming to you. Mm-hmm. So just be on the lookout.
Like just whatever feedback you have, feel free to give it.
Yep.
Any recommendations on improving your craft, or if you have to like explain something further, then that's something we can consider.
Or any ideas that you have for other podcasts.
Like if any particular subjects that you would like to see.
Yeah, because we into this TV and movie stuff. So if any questions, even book stuff we got coming. So just we in it all.
I mean, we don't have these books and comics and manga and shit for show. They're there because you've read them.
Oh, you have to start My Hero Academia too.
We keep saying that.
That's probably the one shit that we have to react to right at this point.
Yeah, we should.
But anyways, you know, if you like this video, leave a like. You know, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. The usual. You know,
do all the things that us YouTubers tell you to do.
Exactly.
We tell you that because they're important for channel growth.
So that's it. It's late night. We've been talking for hours. So
it's been a wonderful time, and I hope you feel the same way.
Now get the fuck out of here.
Peace out.
Sir, I know this may finish me as an acting ensign, but...
Shut up, Wesley.